Welcome to today's interview. We're speaking today with Mr. Chris Maloney. Chris is Director of Business Development at VPIphotonics. I'm your host for this interview. My name is Mark Andrews. I'm Technical Editor of PIC Magazine, which is part of Angel Business Communications. I also edit Silicon Semiconductor Magazine and Power Electronics World. We'll be speaking with Chris today about VPIphotonics, and VPIphotonics has served our industry for over 20 years, providing flexible simulation software and design services, primarily clustered around the following applications: photonic integrated circuits, PICs, semiconductor laser, fiber-based component applications, optical system and network applications, as well as cost-optimized optical equipment configuration. Chris is, as I mentioned, Director of Business Development at VPIphotonics, and he reports to their U.S. office in Boston. He has a Master's of Science degree in Microelectronic Engineering from Rochester Institute of Technology, as well as an MBA in Strategic Leadership. Chris has a decade of engineering experience working in both the optics and electronics industries. He has worked in capital equipment for optics manufacturing and various silicon wafer fabs. Chris brings his experience in modeling and simulation to VPIphotonics from his time working as an engineer with Mentor Graphics, a company I know very well. Chris, again, welcome. And could we start by, if you could tell us a little bit more about VPIphotonics and how you serve the industry?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Thanks for that introduction as well. As you mentioned, VPIphotonics has a long history in the photonics industry. So you mentioned over 20 years. We have hundreds of commercial and university customers, all internationally, and we've been cited in over 1,000 publications. So at VPIphotonics, what we believe in is empowering you to define the cutting edge. And so we do this by providing software that is interoperable, it's integrated, and industry leading. So it's interoperable as in it works with many third-party partners. It's integrated in the sense that our tools, they work together, and some of them even in the same design environment. And it's industry leading in that it's used by those working on standards committees, and it's ever evolving through our work in many of the forward-looking European research projects. So the design tools that we provide operate at those various levels of abstraction that Mark, you had just mentioned. So at the device level, it's possible to optimize and analyze waveguides and optical fibers, up to the component level, where we support the modeling and design of fiber-based devices, such as amplifiers and fiber lasers, but also for the design of photonic integrated circuits with a mix of photonic, electrical, optoelectronic devices. When it comes to the transmission system design, we accelerate the design of optical systems and subsystems inside and outside of the data center, and as well for access, metro, long-haul systems. And at the highest level of abstraction, we support the optical link configuration and network planning. So we can actually take parameters from our system designs and feed them into our link engineering tools for automatic equipment placement and to assess the full system-wide performance.
Excellent, excellent. Wow, Chris, you have such a wide product line and such a diverse range of experience. What I was going to ask you next may be a little tough to answer, but if you could describe what you think is either your most important product or the most significant product that you think you have right now in terms of a PIC audience or people working either in network or maybe transitioning from a network type application over into something else?
Yeah, that's a good question, Mark, because we do touch all of those different layers. So you might be familiar with, there's some other photonic design automation companies that have a strong focus at the device level. But at VPI Photonics, we differentiate ourselves through our strengths at the component and system levels. So I'd say our most important product is this VPI design suite, which is actually a design environment for a number of our tools. But the most common combination of tools used in this environment, it's our VPI component maker photonic circuits and VPI transmission maker optical system tools together. And they are both integrated in this VPI design suite and can work together very fluidly. So I'll give you an example. For photonic integrated circuits, our tool is interoperable with many Foundry PDKs. So we can actually use Foundry specific models for waveguides, couplers, sources, detectors, what have you, to design a circuit and create a building block out of it. And we can simply place that building block into the design of an optical transmission system, which would include realistic models for the transmitting, receiving optics, as well as optical fibers. So this hierarchical design principle then allows you to optimize your photonic integrated circuits for use in a full system.
Great, great. I know that's always been a challenge, hasn't it? And I think that's been the sort of the genesis of good simulation and design software working together. Is that used to be such a disconnect. You'd get what you thought was a great design. You'd go through all the process of prototyping and the thousands and thousands of dollars expended in that area, and then you find out, oops, well, we got it wrong, and simulation is so critical to avoiding one of those meetings that no one wants to have. So right now, as we think, and these past months have been quite challenging because of the pandemic that we've all been dealing with, but are there any initiatives that you're especially proud of now, or that you'd like to focus on a bit more?
Yeah, so we've been identifying key challenges in the industry. One in particular has to do with the amount of data traffic going through the data centers, especially right now because of the pandemic that we're seeing. So as the data center interconnects transform from 100G to 400G and beyond, the optics continue to be used for shorter and shorter links. So optics and electronics are actually continually being pushed closer and closer together while still having high performance requirements. So co-design solutions are needed. And so earlier this year, we actually announced the industry's first integrated electrical, optical, electrical workflow. And that dynamically communicates between Keysight's PathWave ADS and VPI Design Suite. So this interoperability was only possible through close collaboration between our two organizations, and it enables the optimization of design parameters in both electrical and optical domains. So we designed the workflow with both the electrical and optical engineers in mind to allow for the analysis of an entire link from electrical, optical, back to electrical, passing through the different domains, and allowing components to be optimized for system level parameters like bit error rate or TDEC-Q. And so with this solution, we took a system level approach, and we have since taken steps to include circuit level simulations for strictly electrical optical or optical electric interconnect components. And that's all into our hierarchical design flow. Wow. And so we did this by integrating a few different simulation engines and streamlining the design process.
Chris, that's an exciting development, and it's just amazing that you've been able to create that kind of interplay between two areas that might have been considered disparate components, if you will, of an overall system, in a way that you can move seamlessly from one area to another. Could you elaborate now? And I know this is sometimes a challenging question. to address. But looking ahead into the next 6 or 8 or 12 months, etc. Are there either new releases that you'll be announcing, or any aspects of the business that you anticipate changing as time moves forward?
Yeah, so I mean, we're always having new releases, but as mentioned in the beginning of our discussion, we are involved in many forward-looking research projects, specifically in Europe. One that we've been involved closely in is the quantum flagship project Unicorn. And as part of this project, we have developed an add-on to our optical systems tool for quantum key distribution. So this add-on is called VPI Toolkit QKD. It's a library of modules, and it empowers researchers to really work at the cutting edge to design and optimize QKD systems. They can also study coexistence scenarios, and all while accounting for component imperfections into their designs. So at the moment, we are in discussions with early adopters to this. And right now we're gaining feedback and further developing this product. One other thing that I'll mention is that we are also actively participating in the Plasmoniac project. And the goal of this project is to enable users to build and simulate neuromorphic circuits to evaluate the performance of plasmonic-based deep neural networks. So at VPIphotonics, what we're doing is developing an add-on model library to be used for the simulation of these circuits, as well as for networks within VPI Design Suite.
Wow. Wow, that will be indeed impressive as that work moves forward. I hope that you'll consider that as a future article for PIC Magazine. I'll get a small commercial of my own in there as well also. Chris, is there anything, we're just about out of time and we ought to wrap up. Is there anything else that you wanted to say and as you wrap up? And thank you again.
No, yeah, I think we're all set. If anybody's interested in learning more about VPIphotonics, you can head to our website, VPIphotonics.com. If you're interested in learning about news coming out of our company, if you scroll to the bottom of the website, you can subscribe to our newsletter. But, yeah, thanks, Mark. I appreciate the time today.
Oh, well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate your time as well. And everyone who's viewing this interview with Chris, there should be a link on the page to VPIphotonics. And there's also a link and information in that area about contributing articles and upcoming editions of PIC Magazine, which, by the way, our third edition of the year will be out about the end of the month, first part of November. But we're still shooting for by the 30th. Thank you again, Chris, for joining us and representing VPIphotonics so well. And again, everyone, thank you for joining us.